Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Checkmate. I'm your host, Bishop, and today we're going to be talking about Naruto Chapter 694, or as I like to call it, Sasuke isn't as fucking crazy as we all thought. Um, and I have to put that out there, dude, because when Sasuke does the reverse, the flip, like now I'm going to kill all the Hokage, and like I'm gonna seal up all the tailed beasts and then kill them later too. And Naruto, you get my way. Naruto, you got to get it too. When Sasuke pulled that move, I was like, especially with the way it was drawn. If you were watching that chapter, that was just like a powerful scene where he has like he's holding his eyes like I'm going to kill all the Kage, and it's like you get the Sharingan. Fucking, it was sick. The picture sent chills down my spine. Um, but it was kind of like Sasuke, you become crazy. Like even me, someone who likes you, like likes your likes your character, like can't even. This is an indefensible like act you're doing right here. You just beat the big bad. If there's any time for you to return back to the village, it's after everyone realizes you saved the world and Naruto would be backing you with Sakura or Kakashi. You'd be straight. Um, and then Sasuke is like, I'm gonna tell you about my Hokage, and people are like, oh man, this has the I there were I thought it was maybe you speaking about a dictator, and so is he. But he's not trying to become the Hokage necessarily. But he talks about what the title of Hokage should mean. Like that it shouldn't be like what he gets down to the fact is there has to be a person who is willing who make the hard choices. The person who's willing to like say no, like, hey, you're fucking up, like you gotta die, like it's fucked up, But someone who could take all the hatred onto themselves and still have, so that way there could be a unified front, so that way things won't go to shit, Sasuke's reasoning is that you will never get rid of hatred, and like in the real world, he's right. This is the fictional world in Naruto, and in the way that it's built, he's right there too. Um, and this goes back, Nagato, Pain, this was his question for Naruto. It's like, how do you do that? This is a cycle. It was recognized as a cycle back then. Like it, and it's funny because essentially, I would say Sasuke is trying to do something similar to what Nagato and Pain were trying to do. Essentially, is create this big entities, this big superpower, and creating a unified front. Except for Nagato's version is like and then we'll come along and we'll redo the cycle after I blast everything to shit. And Sasuke's not trying to do that. He's not trying to kill everyone. He's just trying to get rid of the people who are like in these positions now that'll allow things to fester. It's like you can't have five Kages. You need one. It's like he's talking about a unified village, which honestly is like that is exactly the type of thing, that I figured this show was gonna like end on anyway. So it's like, oh, that's Sasuke's idea. It's like because I think it's really gonna end that way. Definitely gonna have unified villages. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. That's smart. That's thinking ahead. And during this chapter, you get these two parallels. You get what Sasuke told and what Itachi told, and how what Itachi said, and what he did influenced Sasuke, and how what Itachi said and did influenced Naruto. Um, and if there was any conclusion, and if there was any more talk about Itachi being the baddest motherfucker in this whole series, it has laid to rest because essentially this man's actions and words are now the stemming. Right now, the final fight's like overlay. Like there would be no final fight without this one guy's words or actions. Um, and so it goes to Naruto, or he talks about Itachi told him about not being able to do everything himself and how he's leaving, and now that's why he's leaving things to Naruto. And then it goes to where he was talking to Sasuke, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I think you're, he gets some praises. He gets some praise from. I don't know if my translation was messed up, but I didn't quite understand it, but I got the gist of it. He's like, Itachi gave him a little bit of praise, like, you're working out your own path, and the darkness didn't quite kill you, um, and so they both end up translating it in these two different ways, which isn't really surprising because they kind of got told two different things, like, and that was this, that was so like now they have their ideas. And in fact, dude, for once, Naruto flat out tells like Sasuke, it's like you didn't understand your brother. Like you think that'd be kind of rude, but he's like, no, dude, calls him out on it. It's like you're twisting it. Um, and then Sasuke even goes on to say, it's like he's not doing this, for his brother necessarily, dude. He's just doing this for another world. He for a better world. He even says it's like I'm not my brother. I'm not as strong as he was. I can't like live the way he did. Um, and so what he says, getting back to like Sasuke's whole thing is, and I'm gonna quote it: that could light the darkness that plagues all five villages, one that could go through all that and survive. So it's funny, Sasuke must have been developing this idea throughout this fight. It goes to show that these like he didn't go to that final fight with these ideas. Um, he went like it's just he's Sasuke was on a journey the moment he went and started talking to the Hokage, and he didn't. His journey didn't end after that conversation was after this conversation with the Hokage were done, and he was like, "All right, let's go to like," and it was like, "All right, I told you my story. Now, what are you gonna do?" And he was thinking about it. He was like, but in the moment, he's gonna go stop that, and that's why he was quiet, and I feel it's like, oh, he was thinking, he was developing these feelings throughout because once he realizes we get a scene with and I love it just because I'm just this type of guy. I think this type of shit is cool. Where you see the breakdown of what he finally says to the sage, um, and it's he's like, yo, he's getting this power, and he's just like, yeah, dude, I gotta go through, and I guess I gotta kill Naruto. He's like, I gotta kill Naruto. He's the closest thing I've had to he's the closest thing I've had to a best friend. Um, and it's like this is his answer. He needs to kill Naruto because someone in power can't be stopped by something like a friendship. Like things need to get done, and things need to get done, and they need to be handled, and they can't be handled. And it needs to be a strong person, not someone who's going to be stopped by something like their best friend. And if you look back, the reason why they are in this situation is like every time, like even though the first did eventually like kill Madara, dude, it took him long enough, and he could have done it way long ago to where something like this wouldn't have even happened, you know. Um, and it's through these weaknesses and these failings of the Hokage and stuff like this is why you get this situation. And now Sasuke's like, no, we don't like enough of that. I'm gonna be this person, this figure who's gonna I'm gonna be judge, jury, and executioner. And if people hate me, so be it. But we're gonna have this like but like people hate me, so be it. But like that's what's needed. Everyone's gonna be unified. People aren't gonna be killing. And if there's one person who everyone's gonna hate, it's gonna be me. It's like, but I'm strong and I'm powerful and I could deal with that. And it's like that's not crazy. And like even though sometimes now there's these ideological views like in today's society about the type of government people need, um, if you have a dictator, someone who controls everything, if he's not a bad guy, if he wants the unification of his people, if he's if he might have absolute power, but if he goes through and if he goes through and he's making the lives of his people like better, is he a bad guy? Is a dictatorship that bad? Um, and I guess this is the thing that Sasuke proposes, like like through what he says, this is what we're getting at. And it's hard pressed to disagree, especially with the world he's in. It's like, um, yeah. Um, so the chapter ends with them two kicking off the fight. I loved it to where it started off. It showed like them aging. Each one had like a different panel of them growing up to the point they are now. Um, and it was good. I like the panel to where Sasuke finally acknowledges that like Naruto is close to him. The closest thing to a best friend he's ever had, and he acknowledges that. And it's not like he hadn't before. You got to remember in their original fight where they were in the valley of the beginning. Um, he the reason why he's like, what, I am gonna kill you, Naruto. He realized in that fight, that you are my friend, you know and then he chose not to, he chose not to, and he tells Naruto that lame ass excuse about not wanting to do it his brother's way. I feel like it's a lame ass excuse because it's like, you know Sasuke, we're gonna Sasuke's finally gonna get his moment at the end of this series, and I'm gonna enjoy it simply because I enjoy that type of shit. Happy endings make me happy. I feel like shows should do it. But that's it for this review. Overall, I like this chapter. If I'm giving it a rating, I give it a B only, and it may be because of my translation. I didn't get a full understanding of what they were saying, but I got the gist of it with the version I had, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you. See you all next time. Bye.